Man, things just keep getting worse and worse for CNN. Now President Trump is suing them for their fake news coverage. We're going to take a look at the latest lawsuit against CNN and see how it's all part of a larger trend of conservatives rising up and fighting back by taking the fake news media industry to court. You're going to love it. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. It's wonderful to be with you. Hope you're having a great Saturday. If this is your first time here on this channel, every day now we post 2 videos a day analyzing current events in light of super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we together get to celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, before we get into Trump taking on CNN, make sure to download your free gift, which we put together just for you. We're calling it our Fake News Antidote. You need it now more than ever, right? It's a compilation of over 20 sites that I go to each day for my news, and you can download it completely free at the link down below in the pinned comment section. I think you're really going to enjoy it. All the news sources are hyperlinks, so you can go right to them with just a click. And finally, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsors of this video, and that's our good friends over at patriotrates.com. How many of you are out there tired of paying simply too much for auto, health, or life insurance? Well, you need to just stop. Cut your insurance rates substantially and save big with our good friends over at patriotrates.com. They're an American insurance company that you can trust. They're owned by veterans. Patriot Rates sources competitive pricing on auto, health, and life insurance, and they'll always have your back when it comes to finding the best quote to fit your needs. So make sure to click on the link below and visit patriotrates.com for a free quote on auto, health, and life insurance, and stop paying for overpriced insurance. Click on that link today. All right, so here we go. Let's dive in here. President Trump is officially suing CNN, the Clown News Network, for defamation. The suit that's being filed by President Trump's re-election campaign is targeting an article written by CNN contributor Larry Noble, which was published back in June of 2019. It's an article that accused the Trump campaign of supposedly once again seeking Russia's help for the 2020 election. That's right. These guys at CNN, these left-wing activists disguised as journalists, they're not satisfied with blaming Russia for their 2016 colossal loss. They're already trying to blame Russia for their upcoming 2020 colossal loss. According to Fox News, the suit alleges that CNN knew it was making public a false report. They were quite aware of the falsity of the claim, and they put it out there solely and intentionally to attempt to hurt the president politically while at the same time deliberately misleading their readers. Now, this is but the latest in the president's legal fights against the fake news media. The Trump re-election campaign has also filed a libel suit for millions of dollars against the New York Times over their own fake news Russia article that was published back in March of 2019. It was titled "The Real Trump-Russia Quid Pro Quo," and it claimed that the Trump campaign had what the author called an overarching deal with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Supposedly, Trump had agreed to a new pro-Russian foreign policy in exchange for Russian help in defeating Hillary Clinton. So the quid involved Russia helping to defeat Clinton. The quo was Trump's new pro-Russia foreign policy. The lawsuit states that the Times had absolutely no proof whatsoever to make such a claim, and thus the sole motive of the New York Times hit piece was to attempt to damage President Trump's chances at re-election in 2020. And I believe the Trump team is also suing the Washington Post as well. Now, we've been noticing a trend of late, okay? We've done a few videos on this. It's a very, very interesting trend that's emerging. You see, President Trump is not alone in this effort to sue the fake news industry and call them to account. We're seeing a number of conservatives rising up and suing the fake news mainstream media. We did a recent video on CNN having to settle the lawsuit with the family of Nick Sandmann. If you remember, Nick Sandmann was the 16-year-old boy from Covington Catholic School who CNN accused of racially harassing a Native American demonstrator at the March for Life in Washington, D.C. a year or so back. Turned out it was the other way around. A subsequent video emerged showing that Nick was just minding his own business, and it was this Native American demonstrator turned out to be this far left-wing radical who came up and began harassing him. So needless to say, Nick Sandmann and his family, they were further harassed by our paragons of virtue signaling social justice warriors who basically called for his execution. His family was doxxed and vilified. CNN to this day has stories up online about how racially sensitive the students from Covenant High School were. And so Nick Sandmann turned around and he sued them. He sued CNN for $250 million. That's with a B, $250 million. And CNN folded. They backed down. They settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of money, but I'm sure it was a ton. And this, we're finding out, is just the beginning. It was just announced last week that Nick Sandmann's lawyers are suing a number of other so-called news outlets like the New York Times, the Washington Post, ABC, NBC. I mean, we could keep going and going and going. And given that CNN settled, let's just say that I think Nick and his family are going to be very, very comfortable when this is all said and done. I think Nick's grandchildren are going to be very comfortable. But again, Trump and Sandmann aren't alone. More and more people are beginning to sue the Marxist media for the fake news that they peddle on a daily basis. We did a video a couple of months back regarding Rachel Maddow that you definitely want to check out. It's so funny. It's so good. It'll make your day. Rachel Maddow is being sued for $10 million for defaming the conservative news outlet One American News. President Trump really likes them. Maddow claimed on air that One American News was paid Russian propaganda and that they were working directly with the Russians to spew propaganda out to American viewers. And we never, ever tire of talking about this, but do you know what Rachel Maddow's defense is in the face of this lawsuit? Her defense is that you cannot take her words seriously. All right? You can't take her words literally. That's actually her defense. But the lawsuit against Rachel Maddow is just par for the course of a number of lawsuits that are out there right now where conservatives are rising up and suing left-wing fake news outlets. So you have former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. She's suing the New York Times for defamation. You have the White House official Kash Patel suing Politico for $25 million in a libel suit. You have the Representative David Nunes slapping CNN with a $435 million defamation lawsuit. And now you've got President Trump suing the New York Times and CNN and the Washington Post. Do you see a trend going on here? And it's only going to get worse for the fake news Marxist media. It's only going to get worse. And that's because studies going back 20 years show that trust in the mainstream media has been steadily eroding for decades now. We all know they're a bunch of left-wing liberals. Everyone knows that CNN is staffed with left-wing activists disguised as journalists. Everyone knows that. Okay? Nobody is denying that anymore. Conservatives are smelling blood, and they're ready, right along with President Trump, to take the Marxist media to court and make them pay, quite literally, for their very, very fake news. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out the video I just put up. That's perhaps the biggest on-air fail for the cable news media. You will see for yourself Brian Williams and a New York Times editor demonstrating the most gross incompetence imaginable for all to see on live television. I'm not going to say any more. It's just going to make your day. So click on the link and I'll see you over there. God bless.